Folks, you got to do what you got to do to look good for your audience. And then I came back to my chair and realized, oh my goodness, it's time to start. Hi, how are you doing out there in internet land? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and welcome to Front Porch Brunch. This thing we do on the weekends, where we get together and talk to you, and you get to talk to me, and we get to talk to each other about what the heck is going on in the world. We are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So please, if you would not mind, share the link far and wide. Tell your friends to come on in and join us. In the meanwhile, subscribe to my channel on YouTube and on Rumble. And by the way, you YouTubers, your diligence is paying off. I am not being poached, so to speak, by YouTube at this point. So thank you for keeping a very good eye on what is going on. It is genuinely appreciated. Again, my name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative. I am sometimes known as the fine fella in the fedora. Occasionally I'm called the wise guy in the wide brim. But I am above all else, in this hour, in this moment, your host. Again, we are on Rumble, we are on Twitter, and we are on YouTube. So please share the link, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment, do all those things you guys do, but above all else, keep on doing it. Because daggone it, I can't do it without you, and I mean that. I am a one-man band, and even the band gets tired sometimes. But yes, you guys are the most awesome audience on the internet. Fedora Nation is truly, truly awesome. Oh, so good to have you guys here this morning. Man, have we got a lot to talk about. I have got a string of tabs strung out across this other screen of mine, and man, lots to get into, lots to talk about. Cannot wait to do it with you guys. It's going to be a load of fun this Saturday morning, and looking forward to every bit of it. Oh my gosh. We're going to get into it here momentarily, and I'm just waiting. There they go. The band finally wound down their opening intro. Do appreciate it, fellas. Take 5. Until Monday. We do it again. The check's in the mail. All right, anyway. Glad to have you guys here this morning, and looks like, let's see, who all is here at this stage? Brunch time. Or would I rather have McFries made by... Well, you know what? If you turned me down for getting McDonald's French fries made by Trump, I'd understand completely. But you know what? We're glad you're here. And with that, good morning, Gypsy. How you doing? Let's see. Are we awake? My wake cycle is now 3 to 6 a.m. and 4 to 6. Woo! Zippy. Haven't seen you around for a while, but glad you're back with us. But dude, dang. That's like, what, 3, 6, 4. We have 5 hours out of a 24-hour day. How much sleep are you getting, dude? Oof, man, I wish I had your problem. And let's see, who all is here? Good morning, Justin. Glad to have you. Let's see who's over on the Rumble side. Well, the Wingnuts are fully represented this morning. TBA is here. Greetings, Fedora Nation. I see a countdown clock with 11 hours and 58 minutes left. I must be way early. I have no idea about that. Oh, well, looky who's here. Chris from My Morning Mayhem. Good morning, Chris. How you doing, sir? Glad to have you in the house. I think I've caught up with about everybody. The inestimable Ruben Christopher Haynes. Good morning, Brian. The veal is tender. Okay, I don't know about tender veal. Okay, never mind about my veal. My veal is that joke's gonna go nowhere. Never mind. I'm getting out of trouble before I get into it. Oh goodness me. WWG1 is here this morning. Oh my, everybody's starting to get into the house. Oh my goodness. Oh goodness me. Good to have you guys here this morning. It feels like it's been forever and a day since I've done a solo live stream. I mean, this week has been like chock full of guests. We had Sean from Third Railify was here Tuesday. And then we had Tracy was co-hosting with me on Wednesday. And I love that, by the way. I thought that was a load of fun. And that's we're going to try and make that a regular thing. This coming Wednesday, by the way, I'm going to be on her channel. We're going to be doing a review of 2 different movies. and I think you will appreciate them much. Many of you will remember in the early... sorry about that. In the early 1990s, you will remember The Three Musketeers, which starred Kiefer Sutherland, Charlie Sheen, Oliver Pratt, and a very young Chris O'Donnell. So we're going to review that one. And then on the other end of that, we're going to review The Man in the Iron Mask, the movie made in the mid-1990s, which starred Leonardo DiCaprio, Gabriel Byrne, John Malkovich, Jeremy Irons, and Gerard Depardieu. And I don't care what I'm doing. If I find out those movies are on, I'll just stop. It's like, I don't care. The movies are that good. Especially The Man in the Iron Mask is so well acted. In my opinion, is so well acted. I think I went to the movie theater when Man in the Iron Mask came out. I think I went to the movie theater 4 or 5 times that weekend. I couldn't get enough of it. It was just that good. That's how much I loved it. So Tracy knows of my affinity for both of those films. That was the remake of The Three Musketeers. The one in the 70s was better. TBA, is that the one that starred Oliver Reed, Richard Chamberlain, Michael York? Is that the one I'm thinking of? Is that the one I'm thinking of? If it is, drop it in chat and let me know. Okay, it is the one I'm thinking of. Okay. I've seen, and also starred Christopher Lee as Rochefort, and was it Charlton Heston who played the role of Cardinal Richelieu? Am I right about that? I keep thinking that I am. And I think there was a sequel to that one, if I recall correctly. Okay, so yeah. Oh, yeah, I think that's right. Raquel Welch, she may have played the Lady de Winter. Oh, yeah. Raquel Welch could be in anything, and she could read from a phone book. I wouldn't care. It just really wouldn't matter to me. Ruben, my friend. I really recommend these to you. I really do. So yeah, I'm gonna be on her channel, Tracy's channel, that is, because Raquel is dead. I'm gonna be on Tracy's channel this Wednesday, time yet to be determined. And with that, we're going to be doing all kinds of stuff this week. Some solo live streams, but yeah, we had Sean on Tuesday, Tracy on Wednesday, and we had Chris from My Morning Mayhem on Thursday. Great conversations all the way around. I really loved getting the chance to get to know Sean and Chris better. And there's a third compatriot of theirs out there. Sooner or later, I will be talking to their third compatriot. Duke Willis is in the house this morning. A bit of Tommy Newsom vibe. Tommy Newsom. Okay, you got me on the cultural reference, and that's rare. That's rare when I do that. So give me some more Tommy Newsom information here, because you got me on that one. Very rare. Good morning, my love. Mwah. How are you? Blowing kisses to all those good-looking women. All those good. Yeah, Chris, I really enjoyed it, sir. I did too. I had a blast getting to know you and your channel and a little bit more about you. And like I said, brother, you have got a standing invite. You want to come back on the electronic front porch anytime, you let me know when. We'll have you back on a heartbeat, brother. I really mean that. So, yeah, loads of fun this week. So yeah, it feels like it's been a while since we've done this. I hope I still remember how to do all this stuff, but we'll see what happens. I will let you be the judge of how well I still do a live stream solo. So a little nervous, performance anxiety, that kind of thing, Anyway, all right. We are going to start off, as we are prone to do, with the Merry Memes section of the show. Now, and I saw where TBA dropped one in, and not TBA, excuse me, WWG1 dropped one in here on me. Let's see what he's got for the benefit of the Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, Lord, this is hysterical. This one, WWG1, this one's going right to the front of the line. This one's going right to the front of the line. This is just too funny. Oh, my God. That's good. That's good, brother. Oh, okay. All right. You just jumped the line. Congratulations. Okay. Okay. All right. I was thinking that that's who you were talking about. Um, Tommy Newsom, if I remember correctly, was I can't remember what exactly the um, the instrument that he played, but yeah, Tommy Newsom was in the Tonight Show orchestra that was conducted by the legendary Doc Severinsen. Severinsen was a fabulous trumpet player, by the way. If you never heard any of his stuff, you need to. But yeah, I almost completely forgotten about Tommy Newsom. Very dry humor. Well, hopefully it's not too dry. Sometimes it's a little inappropriate, which we'll get to that momentarily. Now, with that, we'll start the show with the merry memes. And as you guys know, in this era in which we find ourselves right now, it's tough to laugh. I mean, you get all this bad news bombarding you and everything else. So we try and find something here to help us all get a chuckle out of this crazy thing we call life. And memes are the great 21st century equivalent of the old political cartoon. And these meme makers, I got to tell you something, and I've said this before and I'll say it again. The meme makers in the 21st century have got to be some of the most creative people, blessed with a combination of their own individual creativity and technology. And with that, we start off with our first meme of the day. Now, much has been made, as y'all might expect, about what is going on politically in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And what may wind up being one of the secret weapons for Donald Trump in Pennsylvania are the Amish. And I don't know what's going on in the Amish community, but I tell you what, they look like they're really getting excited about voting. I mean, I tell you what. Or whatever. Jeez. That's just straight crazy, man. That is just straight crazy. Got to watch out for those Amish. Don't let those horse and buggies fool you, man. You get into a collision with one of those, and then that gets the question: who's paying for it? Is it the Amish fault? Your fault? How does the insurance handle something like that? And can you imagine turning in the claim? You go to your insurance agent and say, "Well, I got into a car accident." Oh, I'm very sorry to hear that. What happened? Yeah, a horse back kicked my car and put a dent in it. Huh? What? Imagine the look on your insurance agent's face. That's all I'm saying. Zippy with a Rumble rant, and thank you very much for that. Let's see. Sleep is nice. It makes the stress and the voices in my head go away. Sleep bad. It makes my body ache after 8 hours. LOL. Very, very informative, insightful as always. We do appreciate that. Yeah, the Amish are about as unwoke as it gets. And just imagine if they get activated politically. And I tell you what, if Scott Pressler has his way about it, they will be activated politically. I think, what was the estimate I heard in Pennsylvania? What was it? 180,000 Amish in just Pennsylvania by itself? If that's the case and they come out and vote, and again, no guarantee of how they're going to vote, and it's their right to vote for whomever they choose. But if they follow the pattern that I would think they would follow, and you can get a big slew of Amish to the polls, man, you got to figure that's going to help Donald Trump. Absolutely. All right, on to our next meme. As you guys know, there are many different things that are afflicting our society these days, and it seems like we're getting bombarded from all sides everywhere with one form of an injury or another. Well, did you realize that sex toys are having a truly profound and bad impact on our society in general? No, serious. I'm serious about this. Sex toys. I mean, look, when a bunch of dildos start, affecting how we are, it may be time to re-examine, do we need to do something about all these dildos? I mean, seriously. This is just, I don't know, man. I think it might be time. Do we need to have a ban on dildos? Do we need to maybe limit their use? I don't know. But definitely, dildos are having a very negative impact on American society. Problem though with that is, if you try to ban dildos, are we going to get into a battle of the sexes? I will just leave that right there. I'll just leave that right there. But just a thought. Keep in mind, if we do get into a fight over dildos, man, we could be getting into one serious battle of the sexes. I'm just saying. There you go. Zippy. Russia's dildo. If Bo Snerdley saw this comment, I'm not quite sure how he would take that. But that's great. Thank you, Zippy. And thank you also again for the other Rumble rant over there. See, it's hard being a cat with a solid body without turning into a liquid body. Hurts more. Magnesium helps, though. I never realized you had it quite as rough as you do. But, there you go. Now, WWG1's weighed in on this dildo controversy. He says, ask a dildo connoisseur for an expert opinion. That is true. That is true. Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe we need to get a hold of a dildo connoisseur for an expert opinion. I don't know, man. Might be onto something. Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, that Duke, you may be right. You may be right. No, now Ruben, no. Your articles on Twitter are needed in this hour, and most certainly, sir, they are appreciated. They are absolutely appreciated. So, yep. Dildos. You never knew it was going to be. See, that's the thing about coming to the Electronic Front Porch. You never quite know what kind of subject matter we're going to take on. So this is why you need to tell your friends. You need to subscribe to my channel. Just saying. Oh, goodness. What else do we have here? Oh, yes. I got reminded of something as I was preparing the live stream this morning that now wait a minute. Are you saying that Mike Harlow is a dildo connoisseur? Sir, how dare you? How untoward. I have no idea what kind of connoisseur. Well, no, I do know what kind of connoisseur Mike Harlow is on certain subjects. I know he's a connoisseur on horror movies, cooking, any number, punk music, any number of things, which, by the way, he had a great interview this week with a gentleman. I would recommend Harlow's channel to you, and that interview in particular. So, but I have no idea if Mike Harlow is a connoisseur of dildos. Okay. That's Mikey's business. Don't ask him about it. Zippy with another Rumble rant. Thank you for your generosity this morning. TDS is forever the acronym. I mean, Tyrant Derangement Syndrome. Oh, that is a great way to turn that one around, my friend. WG1 says, we need to be careful of whose hands the dildos are in. So I beat you to it, huh? Oh, no, he beat you to it, I should say. Wait a minute. Duke, are you serious about this? Are you serious? Oh, my. We have a sex toy museum and Hall of Fame in Teaneck, New Jersey. Oh, my God. As the legendary Yakov Smirnoff once said, America, what a country. Yeah. Thank you for that, Duke. Okay. As I was preparing the live stream this morning, little did I, sometimes it's amazing the things that come back to your memory. And it was a lesson that I learned a long time ago from my old high school math teacher. And she said, you won't necessarily use anything that I tell you here, but there's one thing about mathematics is that it teaches you how to think. And the more I stop and think about my old high school math teacher's statement, the more I realized it was true. Mathematics teaches you how to think, or maybe it's better to say it teaches you a particular way to look at the world, especially geometry. I mean, for example, certain shapes of certain things give us an idea of how we should truly view the world. I mean, for example, you got pentagons, you got hexagons, you got octagons, you got yo money gone. And little did we realize that those two colors could take our money the way that they do. I mean, I'm just saying, My goodness, yeah. Pentagons, hexagons, octagons, yo money gone. Chris from My Morning Mayhem says, I step away for 1 minute and come back to dildo talk. LOL. See, you gotta hang around. There is no stepping away from this live stream. You never know what's gonna happen, dude. Jeez. Yeah. So, like I say, little did you realize years ago when you were sitting around in math class how much mathematics would help you be able to understand the world in which you live. Just saying. Oh, what else do we have in the way of the merry memes? Yes. We have a couple of contributions from the wonderful and gracious Miss Gypsy. One of them is by way of a riddle. And the riddle goes something like this. How many Democrats does it change to take a light bulb? Well, the answer to that is really none, because Kamala tells you that she fixed it, and they all sit around and applaud in the dark. I think Gypsy's onto something here. I think Gypsy has got a really good answer for this one. So, and by the way, do not, and I think I can speak safely for Gypsy on this one. Please do not feel like that this joke is copyrighted. I'm pretty sure it's not. So if you want to use this at your next social gathering or cocktail party that you attend, be my guest. Now, what kind of reaction you get from it, however, is a whole other issue. I can't guarantee you that, but I can guarantee that I'm pretty sure this joke is not copyrighted. So please, if you think it would be beneficial to your social standing among your friends, please feel free to use this joke. I'm sure that you will get quite the chuckle out of it, if nothing else, out of their reaction. Just saying. Also, another contribution from Gypsy is, excuse me 1 second. Hang on. Got to clear the pipes. Everybody always tries to game plan ahead, or most people do, I should say. And they're always wondering, can we figure out how certain things are going to go down if certain events happen? Okay. War gaming, for lack of a better way of calling it. Well, I think there is some, and you would expect this. Some people are trying to envision what a phone call between a President Kamala Harris and Russian President Vladimir Putin would look like. Well, we do have an idea of how that phone call would go. And it would be something like this. We're at DEFCON 1. Please act now to defuse situation. To which President Harris would reply, today is today, and yesterday was today yesterday. Tomorrow will be today tomorrow. Madam President, this is a very critical situation. We need what will be unburdened by what has. I don't know, guys. I don't know about you, but I don't like where this conversation is going. I'm just saying. I think it's safe to say if this is how the conversation goes, this is not going to end well for anybody. I could be wrong, but, a little bit scary. A little bit scary, I say. A little bit scary. Oh, my goodness. Thank you for those, Gypsy. We do appreciate it. I saw this, Ruben. I do not have this one pulled up, but I tell you what, if you want to tag me on Twitter with it and let me know when you do it, I'll throw it into the mix. Now I'll find a place in the show to put it in. Probably do it in HodgePodge too. But yeah, by all means, tag me on Twitter because that's just I saw it. It was just ridiculous. Got a joke for you guys. What do you get when you mix adult entertainment and the season known as fall? Yeah, I know that sounds like a fairly weird combination, but believe it or not, someone has managed to find a way to make those two things work together. And, maybe this is going to attract a certain crowd. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I've never heard of a pumpkin spice lap dance. But look, it's America. Certain things work for certain people in ways that you just never quite figure out. So, I don't know. Like I say, take adult entertainment and the fall season, and you get pumpkin spice lap dances. Who knew? I mean, it's crazy. America is amazing for its ability to come up with truly creative products that people are going to want to buy or invest in or somehow hide from their spouse. I'm just saying, I don't. So I've heard. So yeah. You take adult entertainment in the fall season and you get, what do you get? Pumpkin spice lap dances. And should I really pursue that one or just kind of let it lay right there? I don't know. WWG1 has a summer sausage lap dances in the spring. I don't even know if I would want to get one of those. I mean, the pumpkin spice lap dance doesn't sound all that bad, depending on how it works out. But I don't know about the summer sausage lap dance. I mean, WWG1, I'll leave you to that one. So there you go. Yeah, the jokes play themselves. Don't forget to tip your waitresses and try the veal. There you go. And thank you, Zippy, for that other Rumble rant. Man, you're on a roll this morning. When there was an ad lib, out came a big slight to Jesus. Oh, we're going to get to that. Oh my goodness. Thank you, Ruben. I will put that in during HodgePodge Stew. Bless you, sir. All right. What else have we got in the way of merry memes? I tell you what, the meme makers have been on a roll today. On an absolute roll. Oh, yes. By the by, have you heard about the new dance craze that is sweeping the nation? Guys, I don't know if this is going to get played or get performed at Donald Trump's next rally, but daggone it, somebody ought to do this, because when I found this, I almost fell out of my chair laughing. I hope you'll enjoy it as much as I do, but I don't know. I've got an idea what we ought to call it, but I'll let you guys throw in your. Oh wait, I know exactly what to call this. I'll explain my title here in just a second. But with that, enjoy. Kamala's never gonna... wait a minute. What? Hang on. What is this? Did my speaker go out? Do not tell me. Hang on a minute. Okay. Guys, tell me if you can hear this. As always, the Ukrainian surplus equipment's breaking down on me. So check this out. Tell me if you can hear this. Okay. All right. Hang on a minute. Ugh. All right. No sound. All right. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. Let me see if I can fix this little problem. Yes. I have to fire my senior executive producer again when I ever hire one. Okay. Let's try this one more time. And all right. And a one and a two and a
Kamala's never gonna beat me in November. Donna's gonna make the country better than you can remember. Kamala's never gonna beat me in November. Hey, Margarita. Kamala's never gonna beat me in November. Donna's gonna make the country better than you can remember. Kamala's never gonna beat me in November. Hey, Margarita. When I dance, I do the Macarena. Shake it on my trailer campaign now. They all love me, cause I'm Dante, and every good American wants me.
Okay. Okay. I'm sorry. I've got a name for it. The MAGA Macarena. That's just. We can hear? No, never mind. Okay. Thank you. I thought that was hysterical. I mean, the MAGA Macarena. That and I say Trump, I say Trump needs to do this, or somebody needs to do this at his rally. Because this would just be priceless. And if you are enough of a political historian to know, 1996, the Democrats held their convention in Chicago, and the Macarena at the time was the big dance craze. You want to absolutely make the Democrats chew on their liver, you're actually stealing a little bit of their own history. Because that's all they did at the DNC convention in Chicago in 96 was the flipping Macarena. So I say Trump and his people ought to do this. I think just do this and have a load of fun with it. I mean, look, I almost hate to confess what I'm about to say to. I have never been to a Donald Trump rally. Watched a ton of them over the years, but I've never been to one personally myself. But from everything I have ever heard from people who have been there, they are just an absolute blast. People have fun. They're enjoying themselves. Look, we got 17 days left. I say take this one out in style. Take this campaign out in style. We need to start doing the MAGA Macarena at these Trump rallies. Can you imagine 15, 20,000 people going, hey, MAGA Macarena? It would be hysterically funny. Good morning, my dear. Mwah. Yeah, well, I've got a nickname for Trump's other thing, the Trump boogie. That's what I'm calling it, the Trump boogie. Let's see. If it was South, my friend, you have our sympathies. You have our sympathies. Although, like I told Sean the other day, I get the distinct impression you guys are right on the edge of a change up there. So I'm praying for you, my brothers north of the border. Just saying. Let's see. Well, now WWG1 is talking about my producing skills, which apparently he doesn't think I have much of one. WWG1 says, I heard that song before you touched it. What did you do? Now I hear it. You need to stop touching things. Okay. I'm going to leave that double-edged comment alone. Thank you very much. But I appreciate your input, WWG1. WWG1 also says, regarding Trump rallies, it's almost like a Grateful Dead concert. Everyone is selling some swag. That's true. Man, there are some merchandisers who have made a truck ton of money off of these things. Oh, great. Now I got Chris chiming in on this. I need to stop touching things. Yeah, that's what she said. Thanks a lot, man. I'm just kidding with you. I'm just messing with you. Oh, gosh. All right. What else have we got? Let's see. Oh, yes. Yes. Yes, indeed. And we're getting closer to our first subject of the morning, but this one kind of leads into it. Much has been made, as you all know, of the interview that Kamala Harris did on Fox News with senior reporter Brett Baer. And we, the American public, only got to see about a half an hour's worth of video. Apparently, there were some things that were filmed before the camera started rolling. And, our spies here from the electronic front porch, they're everywhere. So we managed to get our hands on some of this footage that was, before the interview officially started, while the cameras were rolling. Maybe Kamala realized it, maybe she didn't realize it. We'll never know. But with that in mind, we present you with some of the before the interview started footage, and we'll let you guys tell us what you think of it.
It was called the U.S. Citizenship Act of 2021. Exactly. It was essentially a pathway to citizenship for the...
Yes, ma'am. May I finish responding, please? But you have to let me finish,
You
please.
had the White House and the House and the Senate, and they didn't bring up that bill.
I'm in the middle of responding to the point you're raising, and I'd like to finish.
Yes, ma'am.
Guys, I don't know if that is how it went before the interview started. Boy, did we really get the cleaned up version of it. I'm just saying. All right, one last meme, and then we'll get into our first subject of the morning. And this one is pretty good and pretty instructive. It's a real comparison between Trump and Kamala Harris, and I think it's so true. Trump versus 90% of the media for 8 years. Kamala after her first tough interview. Guys, I don't know. It's, memes, they say, tell a story that, you can't quite put into words. That one's pretty good. I can't lie. I cannot lie about it. Good morning, small time. How you doing, brother? Oh, we're going to get into the Al Smith dinner here in a minute. And let me tell you something. The fallout from that is bad. I mean, just bad. I mean, all right. And when I say fallout, you may have noticed the title on this morning's live stream, Kamala's Unforced Errors. All right. Let's get into this. It is safe to say that the prediction about Kamala Harris that people made when the great swap happened is now coming true. And now, for those of you who may not have heard my commentary or other folks' commentary on this, the prediction goes something like this. Kamala is such a bad candidate that she has the potential to wind up doing worse than Joe Biden would have done against Donald Trump in the 2024 election. And the reason that people came to that conclusion was her, frankly, wretchedly bad performance as a presidential candidate on her own in 2019. Now, if you think back, when Kamala Harris jumped in the race, you had liberals and progressives in the Democrat Party who, they were having a collective cacklegasm at the time, even before we knew what a cacklegasm was. They were having a collective cacklegasm because they finally got everything they wanted in a candidate. A female. She's black. She's liberal. She's very liberal. She's from California. She's been a prosecutor. She's been an attorney general. She's been a U.S. senator. She's got et cetera, and so on. Right? And then she opened her mouth And the more she talked in 2019, the less people liked her, leading up to that great moment in one of the debates when Tulsi Gabbard took her apart in less than 30 seconds. And after that, her campaign went right into the toilet. Such that in December of 2019, even before we got to the Iowa caucuses, she dropped out for the and this is how it was phrased on Wikipedia, for the lack of money and the lack of support. Her political career, or maybe it's better to say her presidential ambitions, were resurrected when Joe Biden made the almost insane decision to pick her as his vice presidential nominee. Now, I say almost insane because people were advising Joe not to do this. Now, I'm serious. If you go back and look at the record, I'll never forget, as Time Magazine, I don't have it pulled up in front of me right now, but Time Magazine reported, one of those behind-the-scenes articles, that Christopher Dodd, who was Joe Biden's longtime friend in the U.S. Senate, and he was also the co-chair of Biden's national campaign, he warned Biden, don't take her. Do not take her. Don't put her on the ticket. She'll stab you in the back. Well, Biden did it anyway, and I think for a couple of reasons. One, he was worried about the African-American female vote, and number two, he wanted his own form of insurance. Now, if you're wondering what I'm referring to, you got to think back. There are people in the Democrat Party, particularly in this current intimation of it, who really don't have much use for Joe Biden, okay? They don't think he's particularly smart, and that's Obama. They have little respect for him. Again, the Obama wing of the party. But Joe's been around a long time. He wanted his own form of insurance, and his insurance was this. You try to get rid of me, you get her. Well, the insurance policy didn't quite work out the way he wanted to, because if reports are to be believed, in July of this year, Kamala was one of the people involved in the move to get Joe Biden out. So his insurance policy backfired on him. Okay. But everybody knew when the swap happened that she was just as bad a candidate, would be just as bad a candidate now as she was 5 years ago. And it's proving true. She is committing unforced error after unforced error. Okay. Well, her form of et tu is coming back to haunt her. If reports are to be believed, she got Joe Biden out of the race. And now she's getting everything that goes along with not having Biden helping her out. I'm not going to play a whole lot of clips from the interview with Brett Baer, but there's one I want to play because it goes to my point about her now very, very visible unforced errors that are absolutely putting the last nails in her political casket. Okay. We got 17 days to go. It's a long way from here to election day. Anything is still possible. Anything could happen. And I never, ever underestimate the Democrats' ability to be creative with their election fortification, if you know what I mean. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But that said, she's putting what would otherwise be the last nails in her casket. I want to play one clip from that interview with Brett Baer. This was toward the end of it, okay? And then I want to talk a little bit about the interview itself, which some of this you may know, some of it you may not. She walked into something and she let her irritation with Brett Baer, her anger over how she was being treated, and her frustrations up to that point boil over, and it caused her to not realize what was about to happen. Okay. So I'm going to stop this at a certain point. Oops, get out of there. But I want you guys to hear this. Now watch what Brett Baer does here.
He's unstable. He is unstable, Brett.
He's not well. You say he's mentally not stable?
What he's referring to is what statements that she has made about Donald Trump on the campaign trail. He's not stable. He's not this. He's not that. Let's continue.
He's not stable.
Let me ask you this. You told many interviewers that Joe Biden was on his game, that ran around circles on his staff. When did you first notice that President Biden's mental faculties appeared diminished?
Look at the look on her face. She is shocked. She's mad. She can't believe she's being asked this question. But I got bad news for you, Kamala. You walked right into it. You made these statements on the campaign trail. Did you not think that this question was not going to come up? Did your staff not prepare you for this? You should have known. You should have absolutely known this was coming. It's the $1 million question that voters have got in the back of their mind, but nobody up to now, up to that moment, nobody had ever confronted her with it. And that is, when did you first notice Joe Biden was having cognitive decline? Now, you and I can answer that question because we saw it in 2020. Not as bad as it is right now, but it was there. The signs were there. It was little things he'd do, little things he would say. Okay? And for 3.5 years, she's been working with him. By her own admission, when they were at the White House together, she'd meet with him once, maybe 2 times a day. Okay? And the importance of the question is absolutely tremendous. It goes to the questions of judgment and discernment. Okay? And I'll get to more of that here in just a second. So here's how. Now look at her look on her face. She knows she just walked into it. She's mad. She's angry. She's pissed off. She can't believe he's asking the question. Yeah, Zippy over on Rumble says, "How dare you, Gettr? How dare you?" Yeah. Yeah. How dare you? You know, and oh, you're right, Adam. Reality can be really harsh. You know. Oh, and that's true too. Yeah, the union guy up in Michigan. I remember that one. True enough, Lana. But here's her answer. Now listen to this.
Joe Biden, I have watched from the Oval Office to the Situation Room, and he has the judgment and the experience to do exactly what he has done in making very important decisions on behalf of the American people.
There were no concerns raised?
So there were no concerns there? There were, and Brett Baer, to his credit, and I didn't think he was going to do it, to his credit, for 27 minutes that this interview went on, he absolutely kept, when she tried to slink away, he would grab her at the heel of the foot and drag her right back in. It's like, nope, you're not going to do that to me. You're not going to filibuster. You're going to answer my questions. All right, back to it. No concerns, no worries.
Joe Biden is not on the ballot.
I understand.
And Donald Trump
but
is.
You talked about it.
And Donald Trump
is. After George Clooney said within a few minutes of talking to President Biden at a fundraiser that he thought this was not the same Joe that we saw on the debate stage.
Donald Trump is on the ballot.
I understand. You met with him at least once a week for 3.5 years. You didn't have any concerns?
That's a great question. And it's a legitimate one. It's a very legitimate question. You met with him at least once a week. You didn't have any concerns? Now, I will say this. The reason why this question is so important is, okay, 3.5 years of working with him, you had met with him at least once a week. You had no concerns about him? You didn't see any of this? Because remember, Joe Biden has never publicly said why he got out of the race. Oh, he has said, oh, well, it's time to, unite the Democrat Party and hand it over to a new generation. But he still hasn't told anybody why he did it. Not really. Not really. I mean, he made a comment on The View. Well, there were people who looked at the polling numbers and they thought that I wasn't doing as well as I could. So, yeah, that's it. That's the only thing he may have even gotten close to saying about this. So here's the rest of this. This runs for another 40 seconds.
I think the American people have a concern about Donald Trump, which is why the people who know him best, including leaders of our national security community, have all spoken out, even people who worked for him in the Oval Office, worked with him in the Situation Room, and have said he is unfit and dangerous and should never be president of the United States again, including his former vice president, which is why the job was open for him to choose another running mate. So that is a fact. That is a fact.
No. You still haven't answered the question. See, I said it's critical, the answer to this. Because remember, 3.5 years saw him at least once a week. You never noticed that he had a problem. That goes to questions of discernment and judgment. Because if there was nothing wrong with Joe Biden, why did he get out of the race? Remember what Joe Biden said. The only person that could get me out of this race is God Almighty. He'd have to come down out of heaven and pry me out of it. I'm not leaving. And then all of a sudden, about 10 days later, he's gone. Why? If there's nothing wrong with Joe Biden, why did he get out? If there was something wrong with Joe Biden, why didn't she say something about it? And if she thought there was something wrong with him, again, why didn't you say something about it? And why didn't you guys act on it? And if you thought there was nothing wrong with him, are we really wanting to put you in the White House? Because you obviously don't know what the heck is going on. It's amazing. She walked right into it. Apparently had no idea it was coming. Now I want the interview itself. And you guys have heard some of this. Some of it you haven't. Bret Baier said later that he felt like a kicker in a football game that the other team was trying to put on ice. In other words, pressure him. This interview was supposed to take place from 5 to 5:30, which would have given, Bret Baier and his staff about a good half an hour. The video production, all the things you're supposed to do. That way they run it at 6 o'clock. Okay, no problem. She shows up at about 5:15. So now Baier's looking at the clock going, oh boy, can we turn this thing around in 15 minutes? Well, they did, to their credit. Okay. But she was playing games. And then on top of that, Bret Baier went on to say, well, they told me it was going to be a half an hour. And then it's like, well, maybe we can do 25 minutes, maybe 20. They knew exactly what they were doing. I said this the other night with Tracy. They were trying to jam him in this respect. Put him up against the clock so tight that there was no way he could turn this thing around. I say she outsmarted herself by a half. Because the reaction to this interview has been universally bad. Unless, of course, you're drinking the copium for the Democrats. They're all saying, oh, man, she laid him out. No, she didn't. Zippy with a rumble rant. Gosh, thank you, sir. You're being very generous. I almost want to say because modern politicians do not have to be well-learned and concise, their brains turn to mush faster these days. You may be right, my friends. Good morning, Dave. How you doing? Boy, we got a good crowd in here this morning. Woo! You guys are absolutely on it. You are on it, I tell you what. And this is a great point, too. If Bret Baier can do this to her, imagine what Putin, Kim Jong-il, or Xi Jinping will do to her. That's an absolutely great point, Lana. Absolutely great point. She tried to play games with this interview. She tried to jam job Bret Baier. She put him on. Everything you wanted to do to try to get an advantage, she tried to do, and she still screwed it up. Committing unforced error after. You know what the smartest thing for her would have been? Let them do a 1-hour interview. let them do it live, show up on time, even though she may not agree with him or he with her. She could have done this in such a manner that if she would have been damaged by it, she could have minimized it. She could have controlled it if she'd have just done a standard interview with a standard allotted amount of time. I mean, it's like I said the other night when I was talking with Tracy. Odds are they would have divided that interview up over 2 days, because it's ratings. They're trying to, maximize their ratings, get the most out of it they possibly can. And they would have divided it up. She would have had an opportunity, to give full, complete answers. Brett Baer would not have felt the need to cut her off because he knew he only had X amount of time. He wanted to get in a whole bunch of questions. And he even said after it was said and done, I didn't get in every question I wanted to because she kept filibustering the thing. I had about 3 or 4 more questions I wanted to ask her. Couldn't do it. She absolutely messed herself up. TBA says she should have done a standard interview. Have you lost your mind, Brian? She can't do standard interviews, no matter how long or well-constructed due to her oatmeal mind. Well, okay. I agree with you. That's what the outcome of it would be. But what I'm saying is, regardless of how it would come out, her campaign would serve her better, and she would serve herself better if she would sit down and do a normal standard interview with a length of time that would give her the chance to at least minimize the damage if possible. That's what I'm saying. Oh, wait a minute. It was supposed to have been an hour? Really? Okay, now this I was not aware of. I was under the understanding, from the way Brett Baer was talking, that it was going to be 30 minutes. That's the option that they presented to him, I should say. All right, Ruben's got a little bit more on this. He had to change the questions and flip things around. That's why he appeared flustered at times, because he had a lot more questions to ask, so he had to search for the ones he really wanted. Okay, all right, if that's the case, then yeah. All right. Okay. Now here's a stat I hadn't seen, but I wouldn't be surprised by it. Okay. All right. Now I see what you're getting at. All right. Okay. I could see that being the case. Huh. Interesting. Very interesting. So, and they say the memes tell it all. Well, I'll just leave this right here and let it speak for itself. Chris from My Morning Mayhem says, rumors say that Trump and Kamala may both be on Rogan's podcast. There's no way she could go 2 or 3 hours. If she does go in, I bet an emergency occurs and she has to cut it short. She's hollow, empty, and soulless. Brother, I agree with you. There ain't no way in the world. There is no way in the world that woman could do 2 or 3 hours on Joe Rogan's podcast. She would fall apart. She would. She can't do it. Now, Trump could do it. She can't. You give Donald Trump and Joe Rogan 2 or 3 hours, man, that could turn into a absolute epic event. I'm serious. I think the internet would absolutely burn down. Crap. I'd if I could find a way to do it, I'd probably live stream cover the fact that was going on. If the timing would allow me to do it, I'd love to live stream cover the thing, because that would truly be an epic event. I don't think it would just, I think Trump would go on and just talk about UFC. Yeah, Gypsy, I think you're right. She won't do it. I mean, look, I know what's being reported, but I'm kind of like you. I just can't see her doing it. All right. I said unforced error. Oh, by the way, by the stop that. Apparently, we also have some footage of Kamala's campaign staff, leaving the interview. And let me tell you something. I guess they were in a big hurry to get out of there. I mean, daggone that. It I guess did not. Yeah, they were. Oh my gosh, they were just wow. Yeah, I guess they were in a real hurry to get out of that interview. And I got to thank Lana for that one, by the way. Then there's the Al Smith dinner. Guys, I don't know. People are literally starting to ask the question, is she trying to lose this campaign? And it makes you wonder. It really does. And by the way, when I say that, I'm not joking. There are commentators, and one of them I'm thinking of right now, Lionel Nation, or Uncle Lenny, as he likes to call himself. Uncle Lenny is pretty well convinced she's trying to lose it. And I'm not going to say he's right, but I can see where he's coming from, the way she's making these mistakes. This is terrible. It's just absolutely awful what she's doing to herself. And the Al Smith dinner is probably one of the best examples of this. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Al Smith dinner is, I mean, undoubtedly you've heard about it by now because it's floating around Twitter and floating around the internet and everything else. The Al Smith dinner is an old tradition in New York City that goes back decades. And in 1960, the presidential candidates started attending the dinner. Okay. The Al Smith dinner raises money for Catholic charities in and around the Archdiocese of New York. It's a bipartisan event. Everybody comes there to have a dinner, listen to some jokes, be told at their expense, be told at other people's expense. And it's a very great old custom. Now, presidential candidates, to the best of my knowledge, have been going there since 1960, when Nixon and JFK attended the event together. There's only been one case prior to this year when somebody did not attend. I mean, even in the 2020 election with COVID, they were doing it virtually. Okay. Joe Biden and Donald Trump still both attended the thing. Okay. Granted, it was done by virtual internet, but the tradition was still carried on. Okay. Prior to this year, there's only been one candidate since 1960 who has never shown up for the Al Smith dinner, and that was Walter Mondale in 1984. Okay. And as Cardinal Dolan is fond of reminding everybody, Walter Mondale went on to lose the presidential election by losing 49 states to 1. Okay. I said up until this year, Walter Mondale was the only person who hasn't attended. Well, Kamala Harris, it was announced some weeks ago that Kamala Harris would not be attending. And I said this was a mistake. Little did I realize how big a mistake it was going to be. Okay. Now, I've got 2 or 3 clips from the dinner. Okay. And I have Kamala's video that she sent in, and we're going to listen to it. My apologies to all of you right now. I am not trying to cause you to, throw up your breakfast or lose your appetite for lunch or ruin your day. But look, to understand how big a cluster F she did where this dinner was concerned, you've got to watch the video. So with that, I said that the dinner is a very bipartisan way of people to poke some fun at each other. And Dave, I love you. But as a YouTuber, I got to do this. I understand. I'm sorry. I love you. I still love you guys, but I got to do this. Okay. Well, maybe this is the way to handle it. But I said that the Al Smith dinner is a great old tradition where people get to poke some fun at each other. And Jim Gaffigan was the MC of the event. And Gaffigan did a great job, by the way. I thought he was really funny. I didn't necessarily watch the whole Al Smith dinner, but it was a pretty good event. So with that, we got some clips, and this is Gaffigan taking the starch out of some people right at the beginning. Check this out.
The Democrats have been telling us Trump's re-election is a threat to democracy. In fact, they were so concerned of this threat, they staged a coup, ousted their democratically elected incumbent, and installed Kamala Harris. In other words, all her dreams have come true. Really? It really makes you consider the power of prayer, right, Cardinal? Sometimes prayers take 3.5 years and a George Clooney op-ed.
Yeah, I mean, look, say what you want to about Gaffigan, okay? And some people will argue he's got a bad case of TDS, okay? But these were funny. And what makes humor good? Because there's nuggets of truth or just out and out pure truth in the joke. You could hear people out in the audience going, "Oh," they knew exactly what Gaffigan was talking about. They knew exactly what he was talking about. Now, I said that Kamala made the decision not to show up. Okay. However, she did. No, don't worry, dear. You do not have to apologize to us for anything. We're just glad you're here, darling. And with that, you gorgeous thing. Good morning. I said that Kamala was not going to be there, and she wasn't. But she made the decision to send in a video addressing the crowd. Now, grab your blood pressure pills, Gypsy. Dave, try not to throw up. Everybody, we're going to play this. I will interrupt it where I think it's necessary, just to kind of, yeah, honey. I've got that one. It's coming up. It's coming up. I'm sorry. I feel like I need to do this. In order to understand how badly she stepped in it, you've got to see this thing. Okay? I will interrupt it where I think appropriate and necessary for purposes of allowing you guys to, reach for the vomit buckets and everything else. Here is the video that she sent in. And with that, in 3, 2, 1.
Your Eminence and distinguished guests, the Al Smith dinner provides a rare opportunity to set aside partisanship.
Cool. Oh, sorry.
Hey, what's going on? Who was that?
Oh, sorry, Mary Catherine Elliott. It's so nice to meet you.
Very nice to meet you, Mary Catherine. Right now I'm trying to record my speech for tonight's dinner.
Oh, yeah, I know. I just want to say that I'm Catholic, and tonight is one of the biggest dinners next to the Last Supper.
It is a very important dinner, and it's an important tradition that I'm so proud to be a part of.
Sometimes when I get nervous, I stick my finger.
Well, if you're so proud to be part of it, how come you weren't there, you dingbat? Oh, I'm sorry. Let us continue. Let me back that up just a little bit.
It's an important tradition that I'm so proud to be a part of.
Sometimes when I get nervous, I stick my fingers under my arms and I symbol them like that. But that's gross.
So tell me something. I'm giving a speech. Do you have some thoughts about what I might say tonight?
My feelings about what you should say tonight would be best expressed in a monologue from one of my favorite made-for-TV series.
Okay, let's hear it.
Don't you see, man? We need a woman to represent us. A woman brings more heart, more compassion. And think how smart she must be to become a top contender in a field dominated by men. It's time for a woman, bro. And with this woman, we can fly.
What series was that from?
Oh, that's from House of Dragons, now streaming on HBO Max.
Is there anything that you think that maybe I shouldn't bring up tonight?
Well, don't lie. Thou shalt not bear false witness to thy neighbor.
Indeed, especially thy neighbor's election results.
Just so you know, there will be a fact checker there tonight.
Oh, that's great. Who?
Jesus. And maybe don't say anything negative about Catholics.
I would never do that, no matter where I was. That would be like criticizing Detroit in Detroit.
Does it bother you that Trump guy insults you all the time? Because it really bothers my friends and me.
Oh, Mary Catherine, it's very important to always remember you should never let anyone tell you who you are. You tell them who you are.
Haters gonna hate. Shake it off.
Shake it off.
Shake it off.
Shake it off. Good for you, Mary Catherine.
Oh, yeah, okay. And also remember one more thing. Don't worry if you make a mistake, because Catholic people are very forgiving. Yeah, and also one last thing I want to tell you, don't forget to say, superstar!
Thank you, Mary Catherine.
Thank you, Kamala.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. We can go on. Oh, my goodness. All right, here we go.
Your Eminence and distinguished guests, the Al Smith dinner provides a rare opportunity to set aside partisanship and come together to do some good by supporting the tremendous charitable work of the Catholic Church. The Church cares for the sick and feeds the hungry, supports families with housing and education, and in times of disaster provides not only essential supplies, but also, and so importantly, a sense of hope. The Gospel of Luke tells us that faith has the power to shine a light on those living in darkness and to guide our feet in the path of peace. In the spirit of tonight's dinner, let us recommit to reaching across divides to seek understanding and common ground. And in honor of the great Al Smith, let us fight to build a better future with faith in God, our country, and in each other. Thank you. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.
Now, if you're about to hear the reaction, and this is pricelessly funny.
I don't even know what that noise you're making is. So I don't know. As I watched that, I couldn't help but think of, now I know how my kids felt when I FaceTimed into a piano recital they were at.
And you know what? Say what you want to about Gaffigan, but that reaction is not wrong. Morning Mayhem says, it's hard to type with slit wrists, but my God, why are you doing this to us? Guys, this is not meant to make you suffer, contrary to the opinions of TBA and WWG1 over there. The jokes were flat. You brought back Molly Shannon, which, by the way, Molly Shannon, I think, is a very funny comedian. She is extremely funny. She's done some bits and come up with some characters over the years that are absolutely hysterical. I love Molly Shannon, but this was absolutely cringe-worthy. Okay? Absolutely cringe. It's terrible. The jokes fell flat. Kamala was not a good comedy partner to her in this. You could tell it was forced. There's nothing about that 3-minute video, 3.5-minute video that Kamala did that helps her at all with the fact that she blew off His Eminence, the Cardinal of the New York Diocese, and the Roman Catholic community in New York City. Not to mention the Roman Catholic community in Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin that no doubt heard about this. And if they haven't by now, I guarantee you they will. I mean, this was we're going to get to the in a minute, but this is just awful. You chose not to go. That's one thing. You'd have been better served not to even send in the video. Just don't do it. Issue some kind of, dipstick apology in writing to His Eminence and just say, okay, chalk it up to, yeah, this is the thing. And she doesn't understand this. The cardinal has a lot of power. The cardinal of the New York diocese, going back to the days of John O'Connor in the 1980s, has immense amounts of power. If nothing else, they have access to media. And believe me, John O'Connor, when he was the cardinal in New York back in the day, used it to extreme effect. Now, I don't know if Dolan is as that good with media as was his predecessors, but I'm telling you this much right now, she just made a huge mistake. Oh yeah, well, we got some of that too. Some I don't know if I had the good sense to pull up that one where Trump talks about Schumer looking glum. That was funny. If you haven't seen that one, you got to go do it. If this is how cringe the Al Smith dinner is, I can't wait to see how bad the Al Sharpton dinner is. Dude, they won't even bother with the videotape on that one. I'm just telling you right now. It just WWG1 says Kamala is the jackass of all trades, master of none. That's a good way of putting it, brother. That's a good way of putting it. We've been That's great. That is great. Oh my goodness. That is funny. Thank you, Adam. That's hysterical. Yeah, I mean, and then Gaffigan's like, yeah, now I know how my kids felt whenever I FaceTimed into a piano recital I couldn't attend. Yeah, now the kids felt. And he's right. He's absolutely right. Now we've got, let's see, have I got one? Oh yeah, I've got just one, but it's worth it. So worth it. Donald Trump was having himself the time of his life at the Al Smith dinner. He got off some of the best jokes and zingers, but this one that I'm going to play you may be the one of the night. Okay, check this out.
There's a group called White Dudes for Harris. Have you seen this? White Dudes for Harris. Anybody know? Are some of you here? White Dudes for Harris doesn't sound like it. But I'm not worried about them at all because their wives and their wives' lovers are all voting for me. Every one of those people is voting for me. There's
it may have been my favorite joke too. Now, I play that one not necessarily to praise Trump or anything else. I'm playing it to make a point. This is a dinner that by tradition is bipartisan. Democrats know that, Republicans are going to try and, pardon my language, take the piss right out of them. Republicans know Democrats are going to take the piss out of them. It raises money for a good cause. Everybody gets to have a good time and have fun. It's an old tradition that goes back decades, and she couldn't even find it within herself to attend the thing. Now, look, I am very sure that there are candidates who have gone to this dinner hosted by the Roman Catholic Church that may not have agreed with the church, they may not have themselves been Catholic. They may not have agreed with the church's positions on abortion or any other social issue of the day, but they went. They had the good decency to go to the thing. Even though they knew they were going to have the piss taken right out of them with some of these jokes, even though they knew the cardinal might be looking at him going, you and I need to have a talk, my son. They knew this, but they went. Okay? They went anyway. She couldn't even bring herself to do that. And I tell you what, this was posted the other day by I mentioned Lionel, the great commentator on social media. I want you to look at the look on Schumer's face and look at the caption above. I'm so effed. They sold me a bill of goods to back the lunatic. I turned on Biden. I turned on the party. I turned on everyone. And when Trump wins, I'm toast. No matter how I try to suck up to him now, it's going to hold a grudge. And who can blame him? I'm so effed. That look on Schumer's face, I'm going to put that back up there for a second. Okay? Look at that face. And Schumer's Jewish, by the way, but he attends this thing every year. Okay? Every year. One, he's a New York senator, and two, he knows his people. Okay? The man has the good sense to realize, look, I may not even be of the same religion, but I'm going to go to this thing. Okay? Maybe he is. Could be. But my point is, Schumer's got political instincts enough to know you don't piss off the cardinal of the New York diocese and the entire Roman Catholic community in New York State. Now, is Kamala Harris in any danger of losing New York State? No. I mean, look, as much as I would love to see Donald Trump win New York State on election night, I got to be honest. He'll get close, but it ain't going to happen. Now, look, I'm not trying to burst anybody's bubble here, but, you're talking bucking 40 years of historic trend. Okay? I just don't see this happening. He'll get close. So she's in no danger of losing New York State. But she definitely screwed herself in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. And apparently, according to reports, and this is from Jack Posobiec, Schumer is furious over the fact that Kamala didn't show up to this thing. Yeah, that's Seabass. That's probably a real good way of putting it. He is a pragmatist. He knows where the money's at. He knows where to raise money. He may not be Roman Catholic, but he knows the Catholics write checks. But yeah, Schumer, according to all reports, is absolutely furious about this. And I don't blame him. He's right. You do not. Look, I'll put it to you this way. Did she have the option to not go to the dinner? Yeah, she's got the option not to go. But you just don't do something like that. You have the good sense to realize, look, I have been invited by His Eminence, the Cardinal of the New York Diocese of the Roman Catholic Church, to attend a dinner that presidential candidates have been going to for over 60 years. Okay? I'm going to go. She couldn't do it. Could not do it. And there's a clip I've got that in part might explain why she didn't feel like she needed to show up. But I'll get to that in a minute. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's 19 million votes in New York State. New York City has 9 million of them. And New York City went for Biden by 87%. Which, by the by, if Trump were to win New York City, or New York State, I should say, excuse me. If he were to win New York State, according to Alex DeGrassi, who works for Elise Stefanik's staff, Trump would need to be in the 30 to 35% range of vote share in New York City, and he'd have a shot at winning New York State. Just for discussion. Yeah, so that meant that Biden would have got, Trump would have got, what is that, 13%? So Trump would have to more than double his take in New York City to win this thing. Crazier things have happened, but I don't know, guys. I just don't see it happening. But anyway. Yeah, and this is probably why she'll retain New York State, at least for now. Somewhere down the line, that might change. Oh, Ruben, you beat me to it, but that's okay. I love you. But yeah, that's the one I'm talking about. We'll get to it here in a minute. Oh, goodness, I love it. You guys are on fire today. Absolutely on fire. Now, why did she not go to the dinner? Well, there is a report, I'm going to share it with you guys. It's pure scuttlebutt. So take it for what it's worth. But if it's true, it would at least go toward explaining the why. This was a post made by somebody you guys are probably familiar with. He goes by the social media handle Bad Hombre. And he posted the following the other day. And I'm going to put this up on screen. I'll read it to you. And this was yesterday morning around 10:30. Major drama within the Kamala Harris campaign this morning. A source reveals that Harris screamed at and angrily berated her campaign manager, Julie Chavez, for over 30 minutes on the phone this morning. The source shares that Chavez advised Kamala not to attend the Al Smith dinner because it would send the wrong message and risk alienating LGBTQ and pro-abortion voters if she was seen cozying up to the Catholics. Instead, Chavez suggested a compromise of sending in the poorly received video in lieu of an in-person appearance. Chavez, according to reports, was in tears during the phone call as Kamala shredded her to pieces, called her an idiot, inept, horrible at your effing job, and told her that her stupid advice is going to be the reason she loses. The joy is gone. Now, I want to say something for a second here. Okay, if this, what we just read, is true, okay, if what we read here is true, yeah, it was a bad piece of advice. If Julie Chavez did give this advice to Kamala Harris, it's a bad piece of advice. I think, however, Kamala's anger is misdirected. But I'm not surprised by the misdirection. Here's what I'm getting at. Okay, laying aside the piece of advice for a second, I've got a message for you. Kamala, sweetheart, honey, booby, you shouldn't need a staffer to give you advice about what to do, about whether you should go to the Al Smith dinner or not. If you're running for president of the United States and you are the nominee of your party, you should know without any staffer telling you, I'm going to go to the Al Smith dinner. Look, Hillary Clinton went to the Al Smith dinner. Joe Biden went to the Al Smith dinner. Barack Obama went to the Al Smith dinner. These are people who most certainly their positions on abortion put them at complete odds with the Catholic Church. They still went anyway. They had the courage to show up. Even though you know that your positions are probably going to put you at odds with the majority of folks in that room, particularly the cardinal, you still go anyway. All right? You still show up. You shouldn't have to be, looking for a piece of advice from your campaign manager, Julie Chavez, about what to do. Now, let's talk about the piece of advice for a second. Again, if this piece of political scuttlebutt is to be believed, am I necessarily surprised that Julie Chavez gave her this advice? In other words, we don't want to send the wrong message and we're going to alienate, LGBTQ and pro-abortion voters if you're seen, hobnobbing with the Catholics. I'm not surprised by that. I think it's definitely a misreading of the nation. Okay. And it's a very immature response as far as I'm concerned. You can still have the positions that you want to have if you're a Democrat candidate and go to a dinner with people who disagree with you. We used to do that sort of thing in this country. We used to understand that sort of thing in this country. You know what I'm saying? But again, this speaks to the not just political immaturity, but I would argue the overall immaturity of Kamala Harris's campaign staff and, may I say, some of her supporters.
Oh, I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go to that dinner. They don't agree with me as an LGBTQ ABCDEFG person.
you do it anyway. You do it anyway. Kamala's mad, but she's mad at herself, and she's mad at her own self-inflicted, unforced error. Now, I say that's part of the reason. Again, this is part of the reason why she didn't go. There's another reason, which I'll play momentarily. Okay? But it's unforced error after unforced error with this woman. Did you guys happen to see? Hold on a minute. Did you guys happen to see Kamala's interview with a reporter from BET? You want to know what Kamala Harris thinks about people who live out in the country? Oh, God. This one's just, listen to this.
Is agreeing to voter ID one of those compromises that you'd support?
I don't think that we should underestimate what that could mean. Because in some people's mind, that means, well, you're going to have to Xerox or photocopy your ID to send it in to prove you are who you are. Well, there are a whole lot of people, especially people who live in rural communities, who don't, there's no Kinko's, there's no Office Max near them. People have to understand that when we're talking about voter ID laws, be clear about who you have in mind and what would be required of them to prove who they are. Of course, people have to prove who they are, but not in a way that makes it almost impossible for them to prove who they are.
You arrogant, self-centered, self-righteous moron. You are a fool. You are demeaning. You are condescending. You are atrocious. Ladies and gentlemen, how many of you out there believe what I'm about, the next phrase you're about to hear? If you really want to do something, you'll find a way to do it. Yeah, and WWG1, you're basically saying where I'm going with this, but I'll go ahead and read your quote, and I'm not mad at you. She means that black people are too stupid to get an ID. Is she saying all black people look alike? The stupid cuckoo clock is right twice a day, but it's still a cuckoo. Yep. I mean, she's insulting Catholics. She's insulting rural voters. She's insulting rural voters who might be black or white. She basically said, well, they can't find a way to do this. They cannot find a way to do this. You can't have a voter ID law because you need to think about the consequences of what that would mean. These people, they're never going to be able to do that. Really? Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, that's a good point, small time. Real good point. Oh, God. It's just, yeah, she does. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Just unforced error after unforced error with this woman. And there's a reason for that, I will argue. There's a reason for that, okay? Remember what I said about her. Kamala strikes me as the kind of woman that does not handle pressure well. Well, we're down to 17 days, okay? 17 days. And believe me, with the stakes being this high, the pressure is going to go straight through the roof for her. And if I'm right, she's not going to handle this well. And I really believe, and again, I could be wrong, but I really do believe that as the pressure mounts, you're going to see more stuff like this. The interview with Brett Baer, the decision not to go to the Al Smith dinner, the comment about rural voters not having the good sense to pour piss out of a boot. I mean, and not be able to get a photo ID so they can vote. Underestimating their abilities. It's just one thing, another after another after another with this woman. You want another example of it? She's in Grand Rapids, Michigan the other day. A reporter asks her a question. Listen to this.
President Biden said this week that every president has to cut their own path. What is one policy that you would have done differently over these last 3.5 years than President Biden?
I mean, to be very candid with you, even including Mike Pence, vice presidents are not critical of their presidents. I think that really actually, in terms of the tradition of it and also just going forward, it does not make for a productive and important relationship.
President.
Okay, wait a minute. First of all, you didn't even answer his question. What would you have done differently than President Biden? Well, vice presidents aren't that critical to presidents. Everybody knows this. You know, it's not that big of a deal, yada, yada, yada. Really? Really? Huh, that's funny because I remember you taking a completely different tack on that question. I got a clip here from about, call it 4 years ago now. So vice presidents aren't that critical to presidents, right? Really?
President Biden always said that he wants you to be the last person in the room, particularly for big decisions, just as he was for President Obama. He just made a really big decision, Afghanistan.
Yes.
Were you the last person in the room?
Yes.
And you feel comfortable?
I do.
Whoa, wait a minute. You just said a minute ago to this reporter for NBC in Grand Rapids, Michigan, vice presidents aren't that important. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's the president that makes the decision. 4 years ago, you're telling, Dana Bash of CNN, well, yeah, I was the last person in the room and I was the one giving him the advice to do it. I mean, this woman almost acts like the internet does not exist, and more importantly, the internet does not remember. The internet remembers, young lady, and I say this as a man 10 years, almost 10 years younger than she is, but I've got the good wisdom to know, don't go crossing the internet. The internet remembers. You don't make a statement that it does not come back to haunt you. And every time she's turning around now, she's making unforced error after unforced error. I'm telling you guys, and again, am I saying she's not going to win? No, because again, Democrats are absolutely amazing when it comes to election fortification or fornication, depending on how you look at it. But she's just making mistake after mistake after mistake every day in this campaign. And you may be right. She doesn't care about what she says. She may not care. But this stuff, I've always said that a great athlete, regardless of what sport they participate in, a lot of times it's not one big injury that does them in, but it's what I call an accumulation of aggravation. It is a whole list of little things over the course of their career in athletics that finally they reach the point, I can't do it anymore. This is what happens to a political campaign. It's not necessarily one big thing, although I will say this. That interview with Bret Baier, and very rarely do I ever say this because I really do, as somebody who's a commenter, either politically or otherwise, I try to avoid the hype as best I can. I try not to let the hype influence what I say. Don't get me wrong. I don't always succeed in that, but I try to be a level-headed, steely-eyed observer of what's going on, and then I make my comments. But I'm really convinced that Bret Baier interview is the one thing that's going to be the undoing of her. I really do. The other stuff are other nails in the political casket if she goes on to lose. But that interview, 27 minutes of actual taped interview will be the one thing that finally does her in. WWG1 says death by 1,000 cuts. Yeah. TBA says, Brian, these aren't mistakes. They are not unforced errors. They're done deliberately in order for all of us to see how blatantly the Democrats will cheat to steal the election. I think the Democrats are going to try and cheat to steal the election. I don't know that I necessarily think one's connected to the other, respectfully. I say they are unforced errors. They are mistakes on her part. So that's just where I come down on it, my brother. Let's see. Oh yeah, I did see that. They're already, yeah, I did see it. And yeah, it's popping up in various places. I did see it. And by the way, gang, I'm not necessarily ignoring it. I am not. Nor am I discounting it. I said the pressure's getting to her, okay? Did you guys see her the other day in Grand Rapids? Oh my Lord. Watch this.
Should never again have the privilege of standing behind the seal of the President of the United States. Never again. Never again. Never again.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Yeah, so much joy. Yeah, it just... Oh, I did. I did see this, my dear. I did see it. I did see it. I mean, I'll do. Yeah, yeah. He should never again, never ever again stand behind the shield of the President of the United States. Sing Kamala, sing Kamala, sing Kamala. My own interpretation of that, of course. WWG1 says, I like the Dean scream at the end. Oh, okay. Thank you, dear. Thank you. Thank you. Let me see if I can open up my Discord real quick and grab that. Hang on. Let me see if I can copy this thing.
Questions like Kamala.
Hang on, guys. I'm trying to find something here real fast. Well, that is not it. Okay. Thank you, Z Highness. I do appreciate that. Oh yeah, they just. Well, I'm glad that you're going to enjoy it. I'm glad you're enjoying it, Jardum. Examples of cheating. Michigan has 400,000 voters, more than there are eligible voters. Excuse me, but 250 years of election campaigning wisdom tossed out the window for Harris? You got to be kidding me, Brian. I'm just telling you where I come down on this. I'm not saying the Democrats aren't going to try it. I'm just saying this is where I'm at. They could still pull it off. I'm just saying, I just think with her, they're going to have a harder time doing it. And besides, if they do manage to pull it off, is anybody really going to believe it? Really? This woman, this dumb, this much of an airhead, are they really going to believe it? Biden, you could make it plausible. Her, I don't know, man. I don't know. All right. Moving on to some other things. Now, I said there was one more reason why I think Harris didn't go to the Al Smith dinner. Did you guys see her the other day in La Crosse, Wisconsin? I'll just play this, and you guys tell me what you think. This is Kamala from La Crosse, Wisconsin. You're probably saying to yourself, well, what does this have to do with not going to the Al Smith dinner? Wait till you listen to what she says.
With the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
Let me back that up, because if you did not hear that, someone yelled out, Jesus is Lord, okay?
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
Dismissive wave of the hand. You're at the wrong rally. I think you want the smaller one down the street. She is dismissive of people who are religious. Now, the context that she was talking about there was the question of abortion, okay? But you could say it would be on any issue. There's a reason why she didn't go to the Al Smith dinner. Laying aside the politics of it, I could make a pretty good argument she doesn't want to be around religious people. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I am. I really don't. She is dismissive of people who have religious faith. Doesn't want them in her camp. Yeah, you're at the wrong rally. You need to go to the smaller one down the street. Just think, folks, if that one makes it to the White House, you're going to get 4 years of that. Am I trying to scare you? No. I'm not trying to scare you. I'm just trying to point out, you're going to have a woman in the White House, in the Oval Office, who really does not value faith, or more particularly yours, or mine, or anybody else's for that matter. And if I had to guess what kind of action she will take toward people of faith, she will not be friendly. I don't even think she'll be neutral. Because, we're the bigots, we're the people who are wrong, whatever. Wait a minute. How does she know that she can't have supporters who are of religious faith, but they could still vote Democrat? You can still do that sort of thing. I don't necessarily know that, it's necessarily a fully uncontradicted position, but yeah, you could still be that way. How do we know that these aren't legitimate supporters of hers who yelled out Jesus is Lord and, are still going to support her? Maybe they support her for different reasons. That was just dumb. Again, another dumb, unforced error. When that starts circulating around, and believe me, it has, she just... Yeah. TBA says, if Harris makes it to the White House, we're all effed. Brother, you get no argument from me on that one. I could see this too. I could absolutely see this. I don't say that because I think Trump's got it in the bag. It's to highlight what she really thinks. Yeah, I agree. That statement was extraordinarily revealing. was extraordinarily revealing about what she thinks about people of faith and Christians in general. I agree with you, dear. Totally agree with you. Now, I said that a moment ago that an athlete isn't necessarily ended by one great injury as much as it is an accumulation of aggravation. But folks, this stuff is starting to show up. And it's starting to show up in big and little ways. And I'll get to the big ways here in a minute, okay? MSNBC sent some people out, I believe it was to Michigan, sent some people, one of their reporters out to Michigan, found a small gathering of 4 voters, okay? Now again, it's a small group, very small. But, oh, wait a minute. Oh, hang on. Well, before I get to that, Ruben just sent me something here. Hang on a minute. Let me check this out. Thank you, Ruben. Okay. All right. Yeah. Hang on a minute. We've got somebody who, I say allegedly, and I'm not saying she didn't do this, but apparently she attended both rallies. Let me get this pulled up real quick. Okay. This is a lady who attended both rallies of Kamala's. So I'm going to put this up here just for some context. Thank you for this, Ruben. And a report on the ground. Wait a minute.
Check it out.
Okay, hang on. Here we go.
Not a lot of energy here, but everyone just cheered and screamed for killing babies. So that was disappointing. Anyway, here she is. Did you hear that? Some guy in the crowd shouted, "Jesus is Lord." And Kamala said, "I think you're at the wrong rally." And then she said, "Try the smaller one down the street." Everyone laughed and laughed and cheered, but I was at that rally. There were almost 7,000 people at it. Today they said there were 2,500. Nobody waiting. Open spaces. I wanted everyone who's a believer to hear that for themselves.
Again, we're not going to be gaslighted on this. We remember Donald Trump hand-selected 3 members of the United States Supreme Court with the intention that they would undo the protections of Roe v. Wade, and they did as he intended. Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally. No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
Thank you for that, Ruben. I genuinely appreciate it. Yeah. TBA says, again, these are not unforced errors or mistakes. They are deliberately done on purpose to piss off every voter. Well, if they're done to piss off every voter, then pissing off voters is not exactly a good way to win the White House. At least in my book, anyway. Like I say, I could wind up being wrong on election night, but this is not a good idea. So yeah, an accumulation of aggravation. Little things that over time add up to a lot of big stuff. So MSNBC sends a reporter out to Michigan the other day. Sits down with a group of 4 voters. I don't know if it's doing it on purpose. Some people think so, but I just think she's just dumb. MSNBC sends a reporter out to Michigan the other day. Have you guys seen this? Check this out.
Who's voting for Kamala Harris here? Absolutely no. No, not possible.
There's nothing she can do or say for us to change our mind.
Who's voting?
And again, it's 4 voters, mostly Hispanic from what I can tell. Maybe I'm wrong. Nobody's voting for her. And again, it's a small group. I get it. CNN sends out a reporter. Check this one out.
The business sector in the Arab American community. And I was really surprised this week to get an earful to hear them say that they would much rather either vote a third party, not vote at all, or vote for Donald Trump. And I'm telling you, it's not obviously a significant sample size, but I cannot find one Arab American within my social circle in business or personally who have said that they will vote for Kamala Harris. When you look at the polling, it seems sort of neck and neck. What they are saying, and this is not a Donald Trump campaign line, that Tiffany Trump's father-in-law, who's a Lebanese businessman, has been successful in kind of converting and talking to people to explain why Trump would be better, even with the Muslim ban, even with everything else that has happened. They feel they do not have any political clout. They don't have any political operation. The only political power they have is their vote, even if it means the rise of Donald Trump. That's extraordinary. That's extraordinary.
TBA says a sample size of 4 isn't representative of the whole country, but did you see the look of surprise on the reporter's face? That's what I'm saying. The legacy media, or the gatekeeper press, as I like to call them, they're getting some shocks to their system that they most certainly never expected. And I agree with that completely. It's the left that's demonized Christopher Columbus and Cortez and a written... yeah, really. Exactly. Good point. Good point. Yeah. I could see that being the case. I could absolutely see that being the case. These reporters are getting shocks to their system. Now, where does it stand? You ask, or you may be asking. Well, I would much rather be Donald Trump right now as I would her. Quick run through the polls. This is the national Real Clear Politics average. If you take the top, what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Top 13 polls have been released since the beginning of October to now. She's only got a 1.3 lead nationally. Folks, keep in mind, Joe Biden won the national vote by about 4.5, and he barely, and I mean barely, won the Electoral College. 40,000 votes spread out over, 4 states? Something like that? Now, for some context, consider this. At this same point, 8 years ago, Hillary Clinton was leading by about 5 points better in the Real Clear Politics average of polls. Joe Biden was leading by about 7.5. And every day that goes by, the national polls continue to tighten. TBA says the fact that these poll results are so divergent reveals they're all garbage. Oh, yeah, they really are. They really are. Chris from the Morning Mayhem says, screw the legacy media. That's why people are turning to folks like you and me, brother. Thank you for that compliment, sir, and I do appreciate that. But yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And it's not just the national polls that Kamala's got to worry about. Check these out. Arizona, Trump's got an average of like a 1.5 point lead. Georgia, 1.1. Michigan, 0.9. Nevada, almost a full point. North Carolina, 1. Pennsylvania, 0.5 point. The only place that she's got a lead right now is Virginia. Keep an eye on that, and I say that one could get weird before it's all said and done. I am not saying this thing is in the bag. Not at all. Anything can happen in 17 days. But I would much rather be Donald Trump right now as I would her. Remember what's going to happen in the next 17 days. Every comment she makes, everything, and even Donald Trump too for this purposes of this discussion. Everything these two individuals do for the next 17 days is going to be hyper scrutinized and hyper amplified. Okay? No matter what. People are going to see it for what it is. Okay? Trump can handle that kind of pressure. She can't. She can't do it. I'm sorry. I mean, maybe I'm absolutely wrong about this. I just think she's going to crack, if she's not already starting to crack. And plus, keep in mind, the full effect of that interview on Fox News, the lack of her appearance at the Al Smith dinner, that crack she made the other day in Wisconsin about, oh, you're at the wrong rally. Psha. That hasn't sunk in yet. It has not sunk in yet. Again, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. If history is any guide, then yeah, this could get real interesting come 17 days from now. All right, let me do a real quick. Oh my gosh, it's 12:30. I haven't got to my other stuff yet. My goodness. If you are enjoying this live stream, and I truly hope you are, and if you found your way here for the first time, which I truly hope you have, welcome to Front Porch Brunch. This is a live stream that we do on the weekends on Rumble, on Twitter, and on YouTube, where we get together and talk about some of the news. We all give our views. And as you can tell, it's quite a lively bunch that we've got on this live stream. So if you're not subscribed to my channels on Rumble and YouTube, please go ahead and give me a sub. I would genuinely appreciate it. We're trying to build this thing into something big, beautiful, and awesome. Also, leave a thumbs up. Yes, leave a thumbs up. Mr. Algorithm loves it if you do that sort of thing. Also, leave a comment in chat, share the link around, hit the bell for notifications. We want to make sure you're always aware when new stuff is coming up. And with that, we'll go ahead and move on to our next topic. Excuse me as I sip one quick water. Okay. And clear the pot. I will spare you the indignity of listening to that. Okay. Trump is rolling. Oh, baby, is he on a roll right now. Did you guys see him at the barbershop in New York City the other day before he went to the Al Smith dinner? I tell you what, I know that, and by the way, I got to give Trump credit for one thing. That man is 78 years old. He is doing 2 or 3 events a day. He's starting in some cases at 7 a.m. in the morning. He was on Fox News. Was it Thursday morning? Fox News at like 7 a.m. Thursday morning. This guy is working his butt off. I mean, win or lose, no one can say he lost this thing for the lack of effort. He's doing podcasts. He's doing interviews. He's talking to people on the phone. He's showing up to places. You know, it's insane. Well, you call it vibrant young man. Most people would say 78 years old is not vibrant young man, but he's got energy that's like, my God, I'm 52 years old and I can't make it through a Friday afternoon without a nap. It's ridiculous. It is just stupid the way this guy's going. But he is just everywhere. I got a clip here from where he showed up at the barber shop in New York City. This is just cool. I'm sorry. Just absolutely cool. I don't know that I'd kill a box of puppies to have Donald Trump's energy drive, but I understand where you're coming from, dude. I mean, yeah, nonstop. Absolutely nonstop. With that, here's a little bit of a clip from where he took a stroll into a local barber shop in New York City. Check this out.
Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
Excellent. Very good. Nice soft flow. What's that all about? That's what I'm the back is just the best. Nice to see you all. Big hands, strong guy. Nice to see you. So you're the owner?
My son is the owner. Yeah, his father.
Oh, you did that very nice and easy, huh? Is he as good as you?
He's great.
He's better.
This guy's having the time of his life. You know, it's just he's having fun everywhere he's going. I got another clip here, and Gypsy will appreciate this one. And again, for all you Michiganders, I apologize if I mispronounce this, but I'll do my best. Hamtramck, Michigan, the only Muslim majority city in America. The mayor is giving Donald Trump a certificate of appreciation. Watch this. It's amazing what's going on right now.
Mr. President, on behalf of the city of Hamtramck, and we would like to present you a certificate of appreciation for visiting our city. And I would like to call the three elected officials, if you don't mind, to join me to hand you this certificate, please. It's going to be historic for our city.
It's just, this guy is everywhere. Trump reminds me of politicians who used to actually go out among the people and interact with them. Yeah, you don't see a lot of stuff like this anymore, what Trump's doing. A small little barber shop here, a McDonald's there, a little restaurant over there, a grocery store. This guy is absolutely, I'm not just saying this because I'm supporting Trump this year, but Trump may be remembered, regardless how this election turns out, Trump's going to go down as maybe one of the best retail politicians in American history. The guy has amazing instincts and absolutely gets out and works and talks to the people. He'll work the crowd. TBA says Madison Square Garden on the 27th. Hey, brother, I tell you what, that event, if I may use a term the kids use these days, that event is going to be lit. That's just going to be something to see. 20,000 people in the MSG, and I'll bet you he gets an overflow crowd outside. But that's going to be something to behold. And again, in my heart of hearts, I'd love to see New York State go red this election, but I just can't see it. He'll get close, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, so he's in Michigan. He's talking to people at barbershops in New York City. And now here's one for you from that same event in Hamtramck, Michigan. Now keep in mind, this is an Arab American majority city. Okay? Check this out.
We all ultimately want one thing. We want peace in the Middle East. We're going to get peace in the Middle East. With the right leader.
Did you hear that in the background? We trust you. This is among Arab American population, man. This is crazy. Jewish people are coming to Donald Trump. Not necessarily in big, but fairly significant numbers. Arab Americans are coming to Trump. The rich are coming to Trump. The poor are coming to Trump. The tech people are coming to Trump. It's just the synergy in the closing days of this campaign, to me, is something extraordinary. And again, I'm not trying to hype it for more than what it is. I'm trying to be an honest observer here. But it just seems to me the momentum on the Trump train is just getting bigger all the time. Now, by the way, in the midst of all this, the Kamala Harris campaign is now starting to try and say, Trump's canceling events because he's tired. He's exhausted. Should we really have a 78-year-old man in the White House? Well, you didn't mind having an 81-year-old man in the White House. Didn't seem to bother you too much, Kamala. Really? You want to go there? You really want to open that Pandora's box back up? So, as Trump is either getting ready to board the plane or disembarking from the plane, there's a group of reporters around there, and they ask him about this. They say, "Hey, Kamala Harris is saying that you're exhausted, you're tired, you're canceling events," and Donald Trump more or less puts to bed this particular idea.
Kamala Harris said she thinks you're exhausted. That's why you're canceling events. Are you exhausted?
What event did I cancel? I haven't canceled. She doesn't go to any events. She's a loser. She doesn't go to any events. She didn't even show up for the Catholics last night at the hotel. It was insulting. All they are is sound bites. So today I was at Fox and Friends at 7 in the morning. I then went to 2 different other appearances. I then made about 15 phone calls. I've gone 48 days now without arrest. And I've got that loser who doesn't have the energy of a rabbit. Let me tell you something. She should have been last night with the Catholics. So all they do is put out sound bites. Tell me when you've seen me take even a little bit of a risk. Not only am I'm not even tired. I'm really exhilarated. You know why? We're killing her in the polls because the American people don't want her. She didn't pass her bar exam. She's not a smart person. She's not a person that should represent our country. So I just want to let you know that very clearly. Go ahead.
God. She's a loser. Interesting. You know what? I could see her pulling off Nevada. I could see her hanging on to it. Wisco, I don't know, man. I don't know. We'll see. But I appreciate your take. You might wind up being right. We will absolutely see. TBA says, Arabs don't want their families over in the Middle East involved in a war. Who does? Just the war hawks. Exactly. They are trying to put a lot of people that don't pass on the first try. Yeah, really. Exactly. True that. Yeah, I mean, Trump is absolutely, and again, I go back to what I said. He's right. I mean, Trump is for X amount of days, this guy hasn't taken a day off. And then again, when he tries to take a day off, someone tries to take a shot at him. You go out to the golf course. Who knew that golf could be such a violent sport that you could get shot? So I kind of get where he's coming from. Now, in this media blitz that Donald Trump is doing, and when I say blitz, this is literally a blitz. Radio, TV, podcasters, TV network interviewers. Trump is freaking everywhere. And I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say it. This guy's everywhere. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy to watch. Young guys who are podcasters and live streamers, big time names. I mean, he was on with Patrick Bet-David the other day. But I've got a clip here, and I think it was up in Connecticut that was asking me about this one. He went on Outkick.com and sat down for an interview with Tyrus. Now, you may have seen Tyrus. He's a good buddy of Greg Gutfeld's. They hang out together over on Fox News. But Tyrus sat down for a half an hour interview with Donald Trump. And this was, it was a great interview. I haven't had a chance to watch all of it, but the clip that I've got has been going around social media, and I think it's worth you guys. If you haven't seen it, I'm going to recommend it to you. There are some people in life that will do things and they will never let anybody know they've done it. It appears that Donald Trump is that way. I've got a clip here, and I love the way that Tyrus does this. If you haven't seen it, check this out.
I actually owe you an apology before we start. I've been very critical about how you fight all through the campaigns. I voted for you because I like policy. I didn't know you as a man. And I think when you don't understand what a man fights for, you can get lost, especially with all the noise we're seeing from fake news, et cetera, who created these pictures from you. So Gutfeld show's over. Cameras are off. We go backstage, and I expected you to be like every politician or anybody I've ever celebrity I've bodyguarded for, and you met my family, and you talked to my daughter.
Mm-hmm.
My daughter is 10 years old. Her name's Georgie. You guys talked for 20 minutes. If nobody knew, you could have been her grandfather. And you were talking about her horses and her dreams. And I was sitting there and I was like, I have been so wrong about this man because I never understood why you fight the way you fight. You're a family man.
I am. Well,
You're a father.
And your daughter's a gorgeous, really, and your wife, the whole thing. I mean, you have got some setup, I'll tell you. But your family's great and you're great and you've really done something and you've captured a certain spirit. You know, a friend of mine who's very smart, he's also a very big guy. He said, because I'm big and strong, people think I'm not the smartest guy.
Oh, I know.
Okay. You are a really smart guy. And I see it and I've watched it and I like the show. And we have the privilege of having had the highest rating in the history of the show when I did it a couple of weeks ago. That was his
of all time.
Of all time. Yeah.
We beat network television.
You beat everybody.
And they were up 35 million
That's
homes.
right. Yes.
And it was a landslide.
Okay, that's not the clip I thought it was going to be, but give me 1 second because this will only take me a moment to find this, and I apologize to you guys. I thought the one. Let me see. It should not take me that long. Give me 1 second, guys. Yeah. Give me 1 second here. Oh, yeah. I think I just found it. Sorry about this, guys. I thought I had the one I wanted, but even that one was great. Here we go. Check this out.
Nelson Mandela and 80 of his kids were trying to come to the United States.
This is it.
Yeah.
The United States government wasn't helping him. No one was helping him. You chartered a 727 plane for their entire trip.
Yeah.
How is somebody, and it's crazy because you can talk about anything, and why is it hard for you to talk about the things you've done? It runs in your family. Your father helped build a synagogue. I mean, why do we not know those things?
It's something that I've never, I love doing it. I don't need praise for it. I don't, we all like a certain level of praise, but I've never, I just like helping people. I help a lot of people and I enjoy doing it and I never talk about it. It's nice that you bring it up. I also think it's not a narrative that the press likes talking about for me.
But I think it would help a lot of the American people who have been misled, I myself included. Now, listen, I'm voting for you now because of the man you are, not just because of the policies, because not every American will get the opportunity that I had to saw who you were backstage. And that's why I have this list. I mean, I have testimonials. We can't go through all because
I want to see them.
Now, this was, I had to dig deep.
I like that.
You donated $100,000 to raise dogs. You're not even a dog guy. Yeah. Explain that.
Well, that's Lara. So I have the wife of Eric, and she's a terrific person. You know, she's actually now a very big, an important person in getting elected in the Republican Party. She comes from North Carolina. She loves the dogs. And I did that in her honor, actually. And, if you listen to her, boy, dogs are treated very badly. They're, some evil people having to do even with dogs. So I did that for my daughter-in-law. Yeah, more so than me. I don't know that much about dogs, but I want to take care of them. And I had an opportunity. As president, you can do a lot of things. I did a lot. The size of the kennels, the size of the cage. There's like cages that they're in. And it's terrible. It's like you have no room, no nothing. And she came in with a whole group of people. These are people that really fight hard for dogs. I mean, you have people that fight. And she's a good person, so I did it for her.
I have hundreds of employees who have said things like, you've paid medical bills, you paid mortgages, rents, you've helped get family members. There's one story in here where a brother came in with a business plan, nobody would hear him. You gave him 10 minutes, you shook his hand and you cut him a check.
Yeah.
Why is it so hard for you and even your team? I'm a little upset. These are things that I think the American people need to know. And I get it, you're humble because you're a father first.
Yeah.
And a grandfather.
I've said for years, I really wish people would get to see that side of Donald Trump. And that, look, Tyrus is bringing out stuff I didn't even know. The story about Mandela I had never heard about. And I get it. You do things just because you want to do them. You don't necessarily do them for the praise. You don't do them for the glory. You just do it because it's the good and decent thing to do. Okay? But I really wish, before now, this is the stuff that people would find out about Donald Trump. The mainstream press, they'll never let these stories out. I mean, Trump's right in one respect. But man, does it give you a completely different idea about who this man is. And who was it? Yeah, it was TBA over on Rumble said something I was about to get to next. Dems in key states are now jumping on Trump's coattails in their campaigning. What does that tell you? They know Harris will lose bigly. You know, I have said for the longest time, I've got the coolest, smartest audience on the internet. And here's the proof of it. I've actually got that story pulled up next. Let me find it here real fast. Yeah, this is just one example of it. Other people have been commenting on the same thing. From justthenews.com by Natalia Mittelstadt, Dems in tight Senate races are running ads touting their work with Trump. Quote, it's not exactly the behavior you'd expect from candidates who believe their nominee is winning the Trump campaign. And he's right. Natalia Mittelstadt writes the following. Ads have been released that show 4 Democrat Senate candidates in battleground states either working with former President Donald Trump or agreeing with his messaging as the November election is less than a month away. Campaign ads for Representative Elise Slotkin in Michigan, Senator Sherrod Brown in Ohio, Senator Bob Casey in Pennsylvania, and Senator Tammy Baldwin in Wisconsin focus on the Democrat candidate's alliance with Trump or his policies, implying that aligning with the former president may benefit their campaigns more than siding with Democrat presidential candidate Kamala Harris. While Trump is behind 1.4% nationally, according to the Real Clear Politics average of polls, he leads the vice president in every battleground state. Slotkin, who is running for Senate, released an ad in which she criticized EV mandates and promoted manufacturing EVs in the U.S. Quote, I live on a dirt road, nowhere near a charging station, so I don't own an electric car, Slotkin said. No one should tell us what to buy, and no one is going to mandate anything. But here's one thing. If there's going to be a new generation of vehicles, I want that new generation built right here in Michigan and not China. Oh, my. Okay. Uncle Brian's pieces of advice during the last days of a campaign. Never listen to what they're saying, but there's 2 things you should always make it a point to watch. Watch where they're going and watch what they're doing. When you've got Democrat Senate candidates that are trying to tack on to Donald Trump's policies and or Donald Trump's popularity, you know, number one, the Democrat candidate for president is in trouble in their state, and number 2, they may be in trouble in their race against their opponent. You know, it is just slot. Yeah. Robert Barnes refers to her as Elise Slotkin. I don't know, but yeah, she's. You know Michigan better than I do, my dear. So I will trust your good judgment in that matter. But I mean, yeah, this is crazy. You got 4 different Democrat Senate candidates, 3 of them incumbents, and one of them is running for an open seat. And they're trying to tack on to Trump, not Kamala. What does that tell you about Kamala's state in their state, her chances in their state, and what does it say about the state of their races? I'm telling you what, man, this is just wild. Absolutely wild. Matter of fact, I think I got a snippet of a couple of them right here. Give me a second. I'll pop these up. One of them is for Tammy Baldwin, and the other one's for Bob Casey out of Wisconsin and Pennsylvania, respectively. Check these out.
Tammy Baldwin got President Trump to sign her Made in America bill. And then she got President Biden to make it permanent.
I'm Tammy Baldwin. I approve this message.
And he sided with Trump to end NAFTA and put tariffs on China to stop them from cheating. So in this House, we agree. It's Bob Casey who's doing right by Pennsylvania.
I'm Bob Casey, and I definitely approve this message.
This is nuts. This is absolutely nuts. She supposedly Kamala la 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 is supposed to be winning this thing. You know, joy. You know, collective cacklegasm. Oh baby, oh baby. And yet it's Democrat Senate candidates they're attacking on to Trump. Never listen to what they're saying, but always watch what they're doing, and more importantly, watch where they're going. Trump is going to do a lot of appearances in the last week in blue states or states that are battlegrounds. But I'm telling you right now, watch where they're going and watch what they're doing. Unbelievable. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's almost 1 o'clock. Holy cow. All right. Let's do and I might save some of this for Monday night. I don't know yet. Tell you what, let's do a couple of HodgePodge items and a real quick commercial. I don't know about you guys, but I'm having a load of fun today. There's some juice in my bones, my old creaky bones. And what's making me juiced is this live stream, talking to you guys on Rumble, on YouTube, talking to all y'all out there on the internet. My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative. This is Front Porch Brunch, our weekend review of stuff in the news. And boy, we've been talking about all kinds of different things this morning. If you like what we're doing here, please do me a favor. Number one, subscribe to my channel on Rumble and on YouTube, okay? I am within an ace, as my friend Chris from the Morning Mayhem points out, I'm within an ace of getting to 1,000 subs on YouTube, and I'd love to get there before the end of the year. So please subscribe to the channel, Rumble and YouTube. Hit the thumbs up, hit the bell for notifications, leave a comment in chat, do all that truly cool stuff. I would genuinely appreciate it. You guys are awesome. This has been a load of fun today. We're bringing the train into the station with HodgePodge Stew. Now, for those of you who've never been here before, HodgePodge Stew is a collection of stories that, how do I want to put this? HodgePodge Stew is a collection of stories that are things that are not above the fold, so to speak, on the internet. There may not be the top stories, but there are things worth talking about. And with that, I got a couple of them here. One of them I'll start off with that is not really good news, but it ought to be pointed out. As you all are aware, Steve Bannon is currently incarcerated in federal prison up in Danbury, Connecticut. Officially, he's going to get out come October 29th. Okay. Did you know, however, he could have gotten out earlier, but is not being allowed to do so? Surprised? I'm not. Want to know the story? Here it is. From the National Pulse, Raheem Kassam's great little organization. Headline: Bannon prison statement. Biden and Harris are illegally holding me past my release date. Written by the editor-in-chief, Raheem Kassam himself. Former Trump White House chief advisor Stephen K. Bannon has issued a blistering statement sent to the National Pulse explaining how the Biden-Harris regime is holding him illegally, refusing to accept his First Step Act eligibility and incarcerating him longer than is required in order to swing the election. Quote, Kamala Harris is the queen of mass incarcerations, Bannon told the National Pulse, detested by Black and Hispanic men who are refusing to turn out and vote for her. She has done nothing to implement President Trump's heroic First Step Act, in fact, welcoming hundreds of thousands of hardened illegal migrant criminals while allowing U.S. citizens eligible for early release to rot in prison. No mass deportations, but continual mass incarcerations. On August 29, 2024, Bannon filed a motion to reimpose bail or impose a period of supervised release. The government's response to Bannon's en banc petition has been pending for over 75 days. His lawyers say, quote, the court should grant Mr. Bannon's motion for bail pending completion of Supreme Court review and order the Bureau of Prisons to release Mr. Bannon immediately. Bannon continued, quote, Harris will lose this election on her inability to get Black and Hispanic men to vote for her in Philadelphia, Detroit, Milwaukee, Atlanta, Phoenix, and Las Vegas. The 4 years she did nothing for family reunification of American citizen prisoners while genuflecting to illegal alien criminals is coming back to bite her. Her Indian heritage surely has taught her karma is a bitch. Well, he ain't wrong there. He concluded, the Harris Bureau of Prisons is illegally holding me past my legal release date, trying to eliminate one of President Trump's strongest advocates. These criminals reek of desperation. The First Step Act, passed in December 2018, aims to reform the federal prison system by reducing sentences for nonviolent offenders and focusing on rehabilitation. A key provision allows inmates to earn time credits through participation in educational and vocational programs, potentially leading to early release into pre-release custody, such as halfway houses or home confinement. The law also expands compassionate release for elderly or terminally ill prisoners. Bannon is expected to be released on October 29th, though qualified for First Step Act early release last month. So there you go, folks. Bannon could have been out earlier if the feds would have let him. Coincidence? I think not. Oh, my goodness. Oh, now, by the way, now this next one in HodgePodge. By the way, y'all have seen, no doubt, the now legendary clip that's going around the internet. If for those of you who haven't, and you're looking for a good chuckle on your Saturday, here's one for you. Check this out.
So is Kamala doing okay?
Nope. She's down, Joe. I think they found out that she's retarded. And now we're basically fucked. Trump is killing us at the polls. So yes, we're going to lose Joe.
Damn it. Wait. What if I come back to run again?
As candidate?
Yeah.
Well, let me put it this way, Joe. The only person in this world who is even more retarded than Kamala Harris is basically you. So no, Joe,
man,
you're not
just
going
give
back
another
yet.
shot.
Let's let it all play out. Okay, we'll talk later, Joe.
Okay. Women looking fine up in here.
Well, you got to give Bill Clinton credit. He hasn't changed a bit. Women looking fine up in here. Yeah. Oh, God. Now, of course, that's AI generated, but funny as all get out. Okay. Now, the clip is a takeoff on an actual legitimate clip of Biden, Obama, and Clinton all attending Ethel Kennedy's memorial service in Washington, D.C. In the original clip, you can see a very tense conversation going on between current President Joe Biden and former President Barack Obama. No one could quite figure out what they said. Well, the New York Post has, was it the Post or was it the UK Daily Mail? No, it was UK Daily Mail. I'm sorry. I've got it right here. I thought the Post had done it and the Daily Mail just tacked on to it. The Daily Mail hired a lip reader to try to decipher what was it they actually said. So here's the story from the UK Daily Mail, written by Perkin Alamaraja. All right, here's the... Joe Biden and Barack Obama sparked speculation that they may have reached a secret damning verdict on Kamala Harris's chances of winning the 2024 election. They were seen having an intense conversation at Ethel Kennedy's public funeral on Wednesday, and according to a lip reader, Biden said, "She's not as strong as me," before Obama replied, "That's true." The exchange was captured on video, and decoded by professional lip reader Jeremy Freeman. He told DailyMail.com the two men appear to be very supportive of each other as they talk, but the deciphered comments will only add to intrigue about who exactly the two Democrats were discussing and whether it was Harris. It came as an influential election forecaster, Nate Silver, declared the White House race is now in pure toss-up territory, with Harris' previous advantage over Donald Trump crumbling. Trump is surging ahead in betting markets. According to the lip reader, early in the conversation, Biden said to Obama, quote, "She's not as strong as me." Obama replied, "I know, that's true. We have time." Obama then said to Biden, "No, that's not on," to which Biden replied, The former president added, "I think it's important that we can have some time together. We'll take it at value." Biden appeared back to his predecessor saying, "Yeah, we'll get there in time." The conversation at the funeral was then interrupted by Bill Clinton, who looked over them and gestured toward the front of the cathedral. Well, we know what Clinton says. He's like, "Yeah, women looking fine up in there." I will say this. That's the first time, supposedly, that Barack Obama and Bill Clinton, not Bill Clinton, but Joe Biden have been in the same room together. I'm not surprised at all if that's what was actually said. Oh, and by the way, here's something else for you to think about. Joe Biden still got 17 days left to put the knife into Kamala's back. And don't you think he's not going to keep on doing it? Don't you think he won't? Oh, goodness me. All right, I tell you what. We'll wrap it up. We're going to wrap it up with a funny, which I'll probably have to clip out later. But Thursday was the birthday of actor George Wendt. Oh, Lord, I did hear about that. Oh, my God, I did. I did indeed. I heard about it. Well, before I get to this last clip, let me make sure that I've got everybody. Oh, Ruben, I should have put this up earlier. Ruben, you're bad. You're bad. You're so bad. But this is definitely worth doing. Remember that story we had with that? Oh, no. Here it is. Oh, yeah. I got to put this one in. Sorry about this, folks. I'm jumping around a little bit. I do apologize. I'm just trying to make sure that I cover everything that everybody's provided me in one form or another, because you guys are like truly an amazing audience with the stuff you do. You know what? I think we will end it right here. Would you folks like to see an example of government efficiency at work? Oh, Jardam, thank you very much. Cheers from Wales. Time to crack out the vodka. Well, as the boys from AC/DC once sang, "Have a drink on me." Appreciate that, sir. I think it's the first time I've ever received British pounds. That's awesome. Thank you, sir. We've got our first international donation. Much thanks, Jardam. Appreciate that. Oh my goodness. You guys want to see an example? No, we're not talking about Nuremberg. That's not what I mean by government efficiency. Blocked ad runner. Shame on you. My goodness. Oh yeah. Hang on, Ruben. Hang on. Yep. Have a drink on me. You guys want to see an example of government efficiency? I got one for you. How many government workers does it take to remove a 24-inch, the remains of a 24-inch round tree? Well, check this out. You know, Gypsy, that's a great question, honey. That is just a genuinely great question. What in the world ever convinced these people that this was a good idea? Yeah. I believe the Spanish term is el retardo. My God. All right. Here's my last one of the day. And as I was starting to say the other day, Thursday was the 76th birthday of actor George Wendt. Now, you may not know the name George Wendt immediately, but you'll know his character when I show you the clip that I've got. And I know that YouTube's going to make me take this out later, but you know what? That's okay. I can live with it because this is just cool. The television show Cheers. Norm was one of the absolute mainstays of that show. And it wasn't so much he had this very deep, involved character, but he got off some of the best one-liners that you will ever hear. Well, somebody, in honor of George Wendt's birthday, put together a 2-minute composite of all the great intros he made whenever he came in to the bar at Cheers. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, as a belated happy birthday to actor George Wendt, I'd like to play this in his honor and for your amusement. Enjoy.
Norman?
How you doing, Norm?
Cut the small talk and give me a beer.
How's life treating you, Norm?
I just ran over its dog.
How's life treating you, Norm?
He caught me in bed with his wife.
God, Norm.
Daddy's rich and Mama good looking. Norm, my nipples. It's freezing out there.
Beer, Normie?
Coach, I don't know. I had one this week. What the heck? I'm young.
Normie, could this be Vera?
With a lot of expensive surgery, maybe.
What's up, Norm?
Everything that's supposed to be.
Hey, Normie, what would you like?
I don't know. You got anything pale and cold?
Yeah, but it's Diane's day off.
What would you say to a beer, Normie?
Daddy loves you.
A little early for a beer, isn't it?
So float a cornflake in it.
What do you say to a beer, Normie?
Hey, sailor, new in town?
Norman?
Still pouring, Norm?
That's funny. I was about to ask you the same thing.
What can I do for you, Mr. Peterson?
Elope with my wife.
Hey, what's happening, Norm?
It's a dog-eat-dog world, Sammy, and I'm wearing milk-bone underwear.
How's life in the fast lane, Normie?
That beats me. I can't find the on-ramp.
What's going down, Mr. Peterson?
My cheeks on this bar stool.
How you feeling today, Mr. Peterson?
Poor.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
No, I meant poor.
Hey, Norm, how's the world been treating you?
Like a baby treats a diaper.
What's going on, Mr. Peterson?
Let's talk about what's going in, Mr. Peterson.
How's life treating you?
It's not, Sammy, but that doesn't mean you can't.
Can I pour you a draft, Mr. Peterson?
A little early, isn't it, Woody?
For a beer?
No, for stupid questions.
Hey, Mr. Peterson, there's a cold one waiting for you.
I know, and if she calls, I'm not here.
What are you up to, Norm?
My ideal weight if I were 11 feet tall. Afternoon, everybody.
That is epic. Yeah. There's Nom. Well, it's like the baby. Anyway. Glad you guys have been with me here this fine Saturday morning and now early Saturday afternoon. Thank you so much for being here for Front Porch Brunch. We'll be back doing this thing next Saturday morning, God willing. More importantly, we'll be back Monday night at 7:30 for Chatting on the Porch, where we'll get together, talk about what happened over the weekend, because you know them politicians out there, they ain't going to stop saying silly stuff that we've got to talk about. You guys have been an absolute joy. You guys have a great weekend. I'll catch you Monday night. And as we leave, remember the words of that great American philosopher, Tom T. Hall. It's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money. I love you guys. We'll see you Monday night at 7:30. Have a great weekend.